Hello UMKC and welcome to another edition of RU News. I'm Abby Higginbotham.
And I'm Darius Stewart. As usual, we're here to bring you the news from around campus and Kansas City every Tuesday.
We began this week with a little bit more of a chillier start. We go live to our cam right now outside.
It's definitely the first big snow of this season. Hopefully it sticks around for a bit. I definitely want to try and build a snowman. I don't know about you.
I would love to do that too. We start today's show with a look at a panel held last week at UMKC called Agree to Disagree. The panel featured Missouri Representative Dan Stacy, a Republican from Blue Springs, Representative Barbara Washington, a Democrat from Kansas City, Justice Gatson, and ACLU Representative, and Professor Steve Kraske, host to Up to Date on KCUR, to discuss the use of free speech with civility. Henry Gamber has more on the story.
I'm Henry Gamber, and this is RU News. UMKC recently hosted the Agree to Disagree panel, which featured 3 guest speakers who spoke about free speech issues and how they relate to the university. We spoke to freshman Sydney Kissel to find out what the students thought about the panel.
I think that it was a good idea, and I think that UMKC student body as a whole appreciates the idea that having different opinions on a panel, all getting to answer the same questions and have a civilized discussion rather than just yelling at each other is a good thing. I just think that the questions that were asked weren't as good as they could have been, and that a lot of the answers that the people on the panel gave were a lot of non-answers. One of the panelists was just reading off of a pre-written script. So I think that at least for that panelist, I felt like a lot of his answers were really ingenuine because it wasn't something that he was thinking of in response to a question. He was trying to work pre-scripted responses in a way that could answer the question. So having an event like this where multiple opinions are being heard in a way that's respectful is a good idea. I just think that this event specifically just wasn't done as well as it could have been.
For more updates on events like this, tune into the show every Tuesday. I'm Henry Gamber, and this is RU News.
Thanks, Henry. With finals right around the corner, mental health is always a top priority for a student's well-being, and many aren't aware of the mental health resources UMKC has on campus. With services such as emergency planning, drug and alcohol information, and consultation assessments, UMKC students can get help with a variety of issues. The university is hoping to continue to increase focus on mental health and offer students 8 free sessions of counseling. These services come out of your tuition anyway, so if need be, make sure to take advantage of them.
Recent budget cuts have put a strain on funding for UMKC student organizations. The Student Activity Fee Committee is a student-run group that decides which organizations have their budgets fulfilled. This year, however, the SAFC was faced with a $200,000 cut to its budget, which is an over 20% decrease. This reduction comes from changes on how money from student activity fees is allocated.
UMKC College Democrats recently went on a trip to Des Moines, Iowa. There, an event was held where multiple presidential candidates spoke. They also attended an event at Drake University where they learned about the caucus system. RU News tagged along to find out more.
So, it took a lot of help. I'm really thankful for the College and Young Democrats of Iowa for helping us get supporter housing. Missouri doesn't have a lot going on politically right now, but that's going to change in a little bit. And so being able to come up here and hear firsthand from presidential candidates and then hearing all about the history of caucuses and stuff was really inspiring.
I've never been involved in anything this much politically before, so I really thought this would have been a great experience for me to come here and learn a lot more about the process of, presidential candidates, and it's been an amazing experience so far. The activities that we did, it helped break it down a little bit more, and I understand it's a little bit more, but it's a little complicated, so hopefully I can do my own research and gather some more information about it.
I was caucusing for Julian Castro. I think his stance on foreign policy is one of the strongest out there, and almost fainted meeting the man. It was amazing.
For the first time in almost 20 years, researchers have discovered a new strain of HIV. This according to the Richard Dawkins Foundation of Science. One of the scientists involved was UMKC professor Carol MacArthur. This discovery does not cause any undue concern for public safety, but the findings has made global news. We here at RU News want to congratulate Professor MacArthur for her and her fellow scientists' fascinating discovery.
That's it for today's top stories. Next, let's go to our sports correspondent, Kennedy Bright.
Thanks, guys. First up, Kansas City women's basketball beat Denver 83-79 in their home opener last Tuesday. The team was led by senior guard Erica Manningly with 23 points and sophomore guard Emily Ivory with 20 points. The Roos also headed to California to take on the Pacific Tigers last Friday, losing 89-60. Kansas City men's basketball opened their season with a bang, beating Avila University 102-49 last Tuesday. Led by junior guard Brandon McKissick with 27 points, and every Roo who took the court scored. The Roos hit the road last Saturday as well, losing to Oklahoma State 69-51. Kansas City women's volleyball beat Utah Valley 3-1 last Thursday and came back Saturday beating Seattle U 3-1 on Senior Day. Seniors Alicia Harrington, Michael Sadler, and Ty Lukes had a combined 37 kills and 13 blocks on their big day. Coming up, Kansas City women's basketball takes on Portland State University in the Sweeney Center this Friday at 6 p.m. That's your Kansas City sports update. I'm Kennedy Bright with Roo News. Back to you, Darius and Abby.
Thanks, Kennedy. That's all we have for you today. While it gets colder out there, stay safe out there, Roos. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Roo News. I'm Abby Higginbotham.
And I'm Darius Stewart. We'll see you next Tuesday.